Lei Jun, the founder of Xiaomi, built one of the largest mobile phone industries in the world at a time when the world of mobile communication was collapsing around him. In terms of affordability and ease of use, Xiaomi continues to lead the smartphone market, despite Apple having started the revolution. However, how did Lei Jun manage to build up such a large company? This is the story of a man who went from having nothing to an investment worth billions of dollars. This is the tale of hardship, toil, and achievement. This is the wild tale of how Lei Jun founded Xiaomi and saw it through to completion. Lei Jun was born in the Chinese city of Shian Tao in 1969, marking the beginning of our story. In actuality, Lei's life was never simple. In his case, there is enough information about his experiences with pain and suffering to warrant a book. He was raised near Wuhan, an industrial city, and spent most of his early years going through hard times. Both of his parents were teachers, and teaching was viewed as a dishonored profession following the Cultural Revolution. Even with his meager income of $7 a month, Lei's father encouraged his early son's interest in electronics. Lei's fondness for disassembling and reassembling radios dates back to his early years. He built the first electric lamp in his village out of 2 batteries, a bulb in a wooden box he made himself, some wires, and other supplies. In addition, he graduated from Wuhan University in 1991 with a bachelor's degree in computer science after leaving Mianyang Middle School in 1987. His main objective was to use his degree to benefit society once he graduated. He was so inspired by the co-founder of Apple and captivated by Steve Jobs' work as an undergraduate that he intended to start his own business and graduate from college early to devote all of his attention to it. This marked a change in the smartphone industry, as well as the beginning of Lei's journey. Lei, who is also a fantastic businessman, overcome obstacles head-on and completed tasks that most people would find challenging. Soon after graduation, he began working for Kingsoft, a Chinese software company. He worked there as an engineer in 1992. With his skill and determination, he became the CEO of the company very quickly, and in 2007 he led the company to an IPO on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Lei launched Joyo.com, an online bookstore, while working for Kingsoft in 2000. He later sold the company to Amazon.com for a $75 million sum in 2004. Lei also invested in 2 profitable startup companies, UC and YY, at the start of this decade. Additionally, he oversaw 70 investment rounds for his company. After serving as CEO for 16 years, he ultimately resigned from the software company for security concerns. He later became vice chairman of Kingsoft again. A few days later, he disclosed his ownership of Vankel.com and UCW Web. Lei was then named UCW Web's chairman. As you may be aware, the UCW Web browser is currently used by over 500 million active users of Alibaba. Finally, Lei Jun wanted a piece of the quickly growing smartphone market, so he thought of introducing a new mobile technology. He persisted in pursuing his dream and eventually founded a business that would fundamentally alter the mobile technology industry. With less than a decade of operation, Xiaomi Corporation is a $50 billion company that is traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The history of the company is fascinating and replete with ups and downs. Lei Jun, the previous CEO of Kingsoft, founded Xiaomi in 2010. The smartphone market was contracting at that point. As the industry consolidated, leading producers like Samsung and Apple increased their market share. However, industry titans like Nokia and BlackBerry were disappearing from view. But in just 3 years after its establishment, Xiaomi went from being an unknown brand to becoming, by 2013, the largest smartphone brand in China. Everyone thought the war on smartphones was over at that point. This company aims to outperform Android in terms of user interface, feature set, and quality while maintaining competitive pricing. MIUI was produced. The Xiaomi company currently has 291.6 million active users. The company's business plan was often referred to as copied. Conversely, Xiaomi claims that it follows different guidelines. At 40, he felt that he had not yet achieved his lifelong dream of creating a Chinese company that would be respected and appealing throughout the world, despite the fact that he was already regarded as successful by society. His goal was to establish a company that could rival the well-known global giants Apple and Sony. Along with 13 other workers, he founded Xiaomi to compete in the fastest-growing market at the time. The smartphone industry was their initial target market. Furthermore, he was able to pinpoint an issue that the industry faces that he can resolve. During that period, the market was dominated by well-known companies like Apple and Samsung. But these businesses now offer incredibly costly high-end phones. Conversely, China is home to a sizable number of knockoff businesses that offer low-quality phones at low prices. In reality, no one was satisfying market demands. As a result, their strategy was to manufacture a smartphone at a significantly lower cost while using the same supplier and component as the big brands. The interesting thing is that, instead of producing the phone straight away, they began by cultivating a potential customer base because they anticipated that, in the absence of a distribution network, the component supplier might decide not to work with Xiaomi at all. Chan, a Hong Kong billionaire, kindly provided Lei with funding. Chan oversaw Hang Lung Properties, which had long been a steady investor in Lei's company, and provided support to Morningside Ventures. Xiaomi officially unveiled MIUI, their Android-based operating system, on August 16, 2010. Chinese Android phones do not run the official Google Android operating system because Google is not yet officially available in the Chinese market. Furthermore, China's Android versions in 2010 lacked much polish. Thus, the group created an operating system specifically for Android phones sold in China. Xiaomi created MIUI, their proprietary Android OS. Within the first year, it added millions of users from that user base and became an instant hit. Xiaomi launched its first phone, the Xiaomi Phone, only online in August 2011. Quite remarkable for a startup company. Currently, Xiaomi is a Chinese company that offers laptops, wearables, home appliances, mobile apps, mobile accessories, and smart home devices, in addition to its primary focus on developing smartphones. However, MIUI ROM was initially created solely on Google's Android operating system by a software company. Due to the positive reception of the MIUI, the smartphone's second version featured more sophisticated features. The MIUI gained popularity over time and was eventually translated to other platforms. As of 2014, MIUI was available for download and installation on over 200 devices, supporting both Chinese and English. With the MIUI Express APK, even non-developers can easily install MIUI on their phones. By the end of 2013, more than 30 million users worldwide were using Xiaomi's MIUI. After the Mi2 phone's initial 2012 unveiling, the company revealed a year later that over 10 million of them had been sold in a shorter amount of time. In August of 2013, Hugo Barra joined the company as Vice President of Product Management for the Android platform at Google. Barra focused on supporting Xiaomi's international growth. Furthermore, Xiaomi was the sixth most popular smartphone brand in China when it unveiled the Mi3 at the end of 2013. With the help of Mobis City, the company eventually succeeded in capturing the technological market in countries like the UK, Australia, and many more. In 2013, the company unveiled its line of smart TVs. The announcement of an expansion outside of China was made in 2014, with Singapore serving as the first stop. Within 2 months, the company planned to enter the Malaysian market, which was a remarkable accomplishment for a small business, considering that a year later, Xiaomi was ranked as the world's fourth largest mobile phone retailer. Thanks to their partnership, Xiaomi's mobile devices were formally made available in the European Union in September of 2016, when the company unveiled the Mi 5 smartphone. In Athens, the first Mi store in the EU opened its doors in 2017. 2018 saw the announcement of a partnership between Xiaomi and 3 Telecommunications to sell smartphones in the UK, Denmark, Ireland, Austria, and Sweden. The company debuted the Xiaomi Mi 9 phone in the middle of 2019, which has a fingerprint reader built into the screen. Furthermore, their phones are now the most popular products on e-commerce platforms like Taobao and JD.com. However, because of its success, Chinese businesses have started copying the Xiaomi approach, which has led to heightened competition. Xiaomi experienced its first decline in sales in 2015, as new competitors like Oppo and Vivo overtook the market leader position. That was a significant turning point for Xiaomi, one that brought the business back to its original strengths. They place more of an emphasis on creating superior cutting-edge technology. At the moment, Xiaomi has one of the largest portfolios of intellectual property patents of any Chinese IT company. It is among the top 5 producers of mobile phones at the moment. Today, Xiaomi employs 8,000 people, generates over $2 billion in revenue annually, and is well known in China, Malaysia, India, the Philippines, and Brazil. As of the time this video was produced, Xiaomi had made investments in 20 startups and aimed to help over 100 companies grow. Among the well-known investors are Temasek Holdings, Qualcomm Ventures, DSD Global, and Ratan Tata. Xiaomi has raised a total of $45 billion in investment rounds. Ultimately, the history of Xiaomi is fascinating and should be known. However, what are your thoughts on their ascent to fame? How does their technology stack up against others? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to and like this channel.